Hello, everyone. Hi. Hey, everyone. My name is Chris Farah, and welcome to my channel. It's Tuesday, December 2nd at 6:51 p.m., and I am so excited to talk about this episode of 90 Day Fiance, Toe the Other Way, Season 7, Episode 13. It's French. Ready for this? Okay. J'ai un rêve. J'ai un rêve. I have a horrible French accent, and if you were in the 90s and you're like a millennial kid, you know that there was these French commercials for these lessons on TV, and it was basically like, yeah, like, teach your child a second language, French, just in case they want to pretend that they're Jackie O, you know what I'm saying? Because in America, you don't really need the French. Spanish is great, which is what I learned. But at the same time, these commercials would have like this, I want to say elephant or something, like in a little pink dress. And then they would say like, Je suis like, "Je suis la jeune fille," or something, like, "Je suis la jeune fille," or something, which I think someone told me means, "I'm a little girl." Je suis, maybe is what they're saying, "Je suis la jeune fille." Anyway, I don't know if that's what it means, but I remember this, like, little ear stem, and I used to hear it all the time on TV, and so, as I was reading the fact that the episode is in French, I was like, "What does it mean, and how do you say it?" So, it means, "I have a dream." That's what it means. I have a dream, a wonderful dream, Papa. No, or I have a dream that someday, I'm not gonna do the whole MLK speech, but you know how it goes, and God bless. But this obviously is supposed to mean Anthony's dream, Anthony's mime dream, big dream to be a mime. This was a great episode. It was hilarious. It was so funny. It was like straight up like Commedia dell'arte is, honey. It was farcical. So we really can like lean into how entertaining the show can be. If you take that into account, then Manon's behavior isn't that wild because there is a little bit put on. Should we just start with them? It seems like we are, so might as well. Okay. I mean, I've actually like wanted to wait and have people come in the rooms. Maybe I'll do that a little longer. You guys, how are you? I'm sorry, you're like Chris start. No, it's just that I want to wait until 7 p.m. I want to be able to talk to some fun peeps and get what you think. So we're going to get in. I'll start the episode again and then I'll put in the notes, hopefully, in the comments when the actual recap starts. If you are rewatching this, you don't have to hear me banter on, but it's going to start in around 6 minutes. Okay. So until then, hi, how are you? My loves, how was your Thanksgiving? My hair looks, mildly okay. I'm realizing that like often when I think my hair is just doing okay, it looks okay. It really kind of looks, I would say, frizzy and unkept. Hi. 1,000 pieces. Ah, yes, of peace. Pieces of peace. I wish we could all just give each other one little piece of peace. That's beautiful. We need it. We need all the pieces of pieces. We need a pie of peace. We all should bake a piece of us every day, and then share a piece of our pie of peace. This feels like a Dr. Seuss book or something. I don't mind it. Um, but yeah, in the world, obviously, Sister Wives, I did the live of yesterday, and Mormon Wives comes out tomorrow. So super exciting. And if you're into that kind of thing, I am. And 90 Day Fiance, before the 90 days, new season drops Sunday. And I didn't realize that Elise got inside of it. Elise of Hunt for Love is in there. Snaked her way, suddenly is dating Elise, an Australian man. He's hot. I don't remember seeing them on the previews. God, honey, she did it. Elise, day one on Hunt for Love, was like, oh, don't worry. I'm coming for every scene. I'm going to run this network. I feel like Elise is going to like marry Matt Sharp. I really do. I'm fine with that. Oh, he's married. Oh no, maybe like if he has a son. I'm sorry, that was rude. I forgot that he has a wife. Please, please, please. But like maybe like I feel like she's gonna marry into the family. She's like take over the enterprise in some kind of way. Like that's her Gilded Age esque journey. You know what I'm saying? Um, so also, it makes me sad that I said that because I never want to be like disrespectful of women. I forgot that man was married. I met that man's wife. God bless. What a nice lady she is. So, but yeah, maybe she could. At least is gonna try though. At least we'll try something to just like make sure that she's on the show for the rest of her life. At least wants fame. And you know what? At the same time, I'm not mad at it. At first, I was so happy, and it's true that before the 90 days gives us fresh blood, brand new blood, like no one we have to suffer through old style. And yet Elise would be that, but at the same time, we saw such a weird version of her, which was, hungry and thirsty on an island. And I'm not saying that in a relationship she's not hungry and thirsty, but what I am saying is I'll watch it. I'll watch that. Absolutely, I will. Honey, please. I will watch it. So yeah, some exciting things in the docket, you guys. And if you just so you know, Docu Sweeties has ended, which was a lovely collaboration between me and Wahama. And I'm starting my new podcast. It's called Vanity Fair, and I'll be able to kind of expand in a magazine style format, just POV world of like commentary on pop culture and recaps like I do. I really want to be able to expand this space, YouTube, Facebook, Substack, make all the social medias and whatnot, just like a very cohesive, consistent, you know, organized way for me to literally broadcast how I feel about pop culture. Because at this point, I don't even know if television exists anymore in the way it used to. And I don't think anyone's really paying to see a lot of theater, even though I do appreciate Oh Mary's success. And I'm going to go see some theater. I'm super excited about. So, 2 more minutes till I start. You guys give me comments if you think I should see a show in New York or London in December. I'm going to do some traveling. I'm very excited. I bought some new luggage. That's on the docket. If anyone's interested, I would totally do like a live packing or pack with me. Like that kind of stuff I enjoy. Um, but that's like weird things where I enjoy how people fit pieces into pieces. My mind works like that. So um, that's all coming up. But thank you guys so much for being here and spending any time with me. I've been talking for 7 minutes and it's about to be 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and soonly start. Good morning. Hi. Oh, I'm so sorry about your insomnia that truly plagues you. And then, turns out great for me in the sense that I get to see you. You're here for, my time zones. Ugh, okay, my loves. Great timing. Let's begin. This is 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, Season 7, Episode 13. J'ai un rêve. I have a dream. I have a dream for miming and entertaining this world through nonverbal space work and creating the world through my own body and face and big expressions. And what a interesting what an interesting segment that we never see. Like, I'll tell you, we never saw anyone else try and be a mime on the show. We've certainly seen people, you know, go see a lawyer about what they should do. And we've certainly seen people get yelled at their family about their dumb choices. Just like no one's ever been like, hey, you know what I'm going to try to do? Make you laugh by being a mime. Honey, he had a dream and he executed it. Okay, I still want to start with them because it was so good. So, listen, it's just, yeah, it starts with Anthony. And Anthony's like, the goat cheese farm didn't work out, but I have a brilliant other idea that is as nonsensical and has also like, has her watching and reacting to something that she's not the center star attention of that isn't Lux or Glam. I don't know Manon very well, but from what I've seen, I kind of feel like I know her taste. Business casual, so she says, much to my dismay. Basically express. I mean, come on. Ann Taylor, honey, with a YSL bag, but Manon, wants to also be like fancy. Like she likes to be considered fancy. Like she wants a big house and she wants, like nice clothes and she wants to like live in LA and she wants that like influencer life or whatever. Like that's kind of like what she's always come with. And so even though she's French and even though she keeps talking about Provence, like I feel like if I had to pick a date for her, it'd be like, oh, I'll take you to Le Folies Boulangerie or whatever's in Paris, like, like one of those like kind of sexy burlesque places, and maybe we have like a fun adult night where you get a little dressed up, and I tell you that you look hot and then you drink, you know what I'm saying? And then you feel good and I just let you do whatever the fuck you want. You're going to feel great about it. Like that's to me what Manon wants on a date, right? Is it called Folies Bergeret? You know what I'm talking about. I feel like every last episode of Sister Wives, I was like trying to talk about, I was talking about strip clubs and Crazy Horse came up. But yeah, like, all of the like fun Parisian girls like Dita Von Teese and a champagne cup kind of thing. Champagne, I guess not flute, but coup. Anyway, but Anthony didn't pick that. Yay. Anthony didn't do that. Anthony wasn't like, I'm gonna make like a bougie night for my babe, like I know what she likes. He's like, no, no, no. I know I'm gonna embarrass the F out of her by being like a basic bad mime. Like uh, here's the thing. And this is, I think, Anthony's like white maleness. And you can be like, Chris, don't make it such a big thing, but I'll say this. Miming is a whole art, right? Like that lady that we saw that, starts with a moonwalk. She's like, every mime knows from the beginning, we all started with moonwalking, like which alone was hilarious. And at that point, I'm like, and then do you move on to G walking? Is that intermediate? But she's trained and like they have schools. It's like Zen master style stuff. There's just all of these lineages. And why I bring it up is like to think you can suddenly jump into miming, like be public about it is like kind of a little bit grandiose. Like you think you're just gonna pick up a violin and just suddenly on the street corner be like do 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 and have it sound good. Like no, like no, because miming, takes skill. Like you have to feel the tension of the non-existent air against your hands. There's all the techniques. And I hate it and I love it for the following reasons. A, because of course, miming, as a theater arts major, has lineages and many different practices and works that I'm familiar with, like commedia dell'arte and clowning and improv and comedy, like that kind of presentational style entertainment is great. And you might think it's just like an easy thing, but it's like surely not. You have to really learn the skill of holding tension in your body with breath and like letting it go so that it reads. But a lot of people, and especially a lot of like white males, are like, I can do that. Professional first time. I'll just go in public and do it. Now, he just is like, nah, I just want to make her laugh. So then we we get her and she, I guess, has been told, I'm not quite sure, like to just meet him in a square of the neighborhood, bring Ben after hopefully spending some time with him, and the cameras will be there and he has like another surprise that maybe to make up for the goat cheese, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, so um the thing about Anthony is that he again says that miming is the only job he's qualified for. Now we're also like speaking English, like learning, like, teaching people to speak English also, also any manual labor. Marcel Monsieur was spitting in. That's so funny. He was. When that nice lady was like, base moonwalking is how we all start. I like spit up coffee. I was like not drinking coffee. And then, but I had drank coffee 3 days prior and I spit up that. I mean, what? She's trying to be like, you have to move in a certain way. You can't just do your basic movement, which is true. Like there's a presentational style to what's happening. No one wants to see a mime just walk across stage like one would walk across stage if you're fresh from your bed trying to like open a fridge in the first thing in the morning, you know, unless that's exaggerated, in which case you do want to see that. It's gonna be kind of funny. It's gonna seem like tired. That was a really bad example. You can't watch like normal behavior on stage. And this is a weird thing. It's like if it's too normal, if it's too mundane, if it's too small, if it's too whatever, it's boring. You have to like enjoy and or control the heightening and softening of it, I guess. It's like how movement and space become the tools of, let's just say, a physical actor, like breath and tone or whatever becomes the tools of a singer. So a singer that always was just always singing like this would be kind of boring. Like you'd be like, bitch, get a different key or whatever. But you know, obviously, the more that you can do a different thing and go down, so but so like you know, the more you have control, the more you like know what you're doing is like technically what being proficient singer is. Obviously, I'm not, and I would never claim to be that. I am a professional mime though. Anyway, I'm not, but I'm you know, I am someone who obviously I am joking back and forth. I'm a theater arts major, and I've obviously done a lot of improv, and I have done some clowning, and clowning is a whole different interesting thing. I'm not quite sure if it's for me, but it just is harder than you would think because it requires a lot of mind body connection and then relative understanding of space and theatricality so that you can create moments that transfer and that have expression. Now, did his work transfer? It's interesting because even the mime herself who saw what went down was like, you know what? You're supposed to get a reaction from someone. That's the point of it. And he elicited a reaction. Was it the reaction he wanted? No. And was it unexpected? Absolutely. Manon's pissed because he is basically, you know, dressed like a French stereotype of a mime, you know. He's wearing stripes. He's wearing like a boat neck top. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, Manon's outfit is one of the like what I'll say looks of the up. I mean EW. LEWK. Okay, but let's get into it. So she's walking, like I said. She's enjoying her life. She's like, baby, where the hell's my husband? What is taking him so long to find me? She doesn't know where her dad is. That's what she's like telling Ben. She's wearing an LA shirt. She's holding on for dear life to that influencerness. It's oranges on top. It's a yellow butter shirt. It's over black sweatpants. And then what remains is the biggest black leather YSL briefcase that one surely would not need on like a day trip out with your son and that outfit and your husband preparing a surprise for you. I mean, she can't possibly have legal documents in there. What's in there? A laptop? Why? Why? Okay, why? But anyway, all of this is funny to me, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, oh, please, please, Manal, what are you gonna do with that briefcase? Are you gonna just suddenly like get a new client? I mean, I know you're marketing all the time, but you just suddenly just like make a business plan up with Ben. I mean, like so crazy, right? Okay, so but and God bless. Nary a stitch of makeup nor her hair done, and her hair has like horrible roots. And I hate to bring all of this up, but I'm bringing it up only because obviously I'm a bitch, but also because she is like supposedly like an influencer, right? Like she's like her, you know, she's on TV. She's like she's on TV and arguably the biggest media, you know, vehicle of her like natural life. So it is interesting to me that she claims to be someone who like started creating a community like based upon style. I mean, period. And what she serves us is like wild, wild. I mean, like out of control bananas. Like it really is to the point where like I think sometimes mental load and mental capabilities in current present time can be transferred aesthetically through the look of how you decided to present yourself. I love that. I so basically she's again looking for Anthony and we get her looking this way, looking that way. And when she finally sees him, she's like, what the fuck? I mean, truly screams because in front of her is like her husband in mime gear. Also, a walking hat that like is one that like a lady with fair skin would do as she's hiking, like as I do Griffith Park. Sometimes there's a lot of like lovely women. I I believe they're Korean that always have that kind of hat that just like it's because skincare, like in keeping yourself away from the sun for skin damage, I guess, is like such a big deal. I go back and forth because I really love being tan. But this mime, honey, and these vans in this rose, Ben is not quite, for some reason, able to piece together that that's his dad, which I find interesting because Ben's like mostly in that dad's arms, and that dad doesn't look that different. Why is Ben so scared of his dad now? Interesting. One time, my mom put blue contacts in and picked me up from preschool, and I screamed. I thought that she had been like possessed. I did not understand why her eyes were blue. Like, and it's weird because it was one thing like like just a contact on whatever, but because it was the eyes, you guys know how much I love eyes, eye contact and stuff like that. Like, I just did not piece together how it could be the same person because I obviously know what costumes look like and I've seen her in a costume, but like it felt like a robot was in front of me. I hated that. So anyway, Ben was scared. Listen, Manon was scared. Manon was so happy to have Ben on her side. It was probably like the first time she got to be like, your son and me are allies against you, and how bad this decision is. We don't like mimes and we don't like clowns. Look at him. You scared him. You scared me. I mean, she really used it. She was like, this was a poor parenting choice. Horrible husband choice. You've really fucked up, He's just like, but j'ai un rêve. J'ai un rêve. I mean, her, what the fuck? And then just like moonwalking Anthony, like, this isn't real life. Like, this is so unserious. I liked it. I think I really was like, okay, fine, because the entire internet about her is like really angry. And I am like, yeah, she definitely has presented, and I feel like she knows an obnoxious character that gets over dramatically upset about everything. And certainly this happens again. Anthony, why would you do this? Why would you do this to Ben? You're just like, it's like it passed a threshold of being annoying to me in this scene, and suddenly it all became like quite delightful. The goat farm made me upset when she was upset about the goat farm because I felt bad for the man that owned the goat farm. That she was like, it smells here. I cannot do this or whatever. And please, I know every time I do this accent, you're like cringing for me. And I'm like, okay, I can't help it. Because it's also impossible not to try and do her voice in some sort of accent. Have you heard of it? Whatever. I'll try to get better. Okay, God bless. Je suis la jeune fille. Okay, anyway, so. But I got mad because again, she was like, insulting the man's livelihood, right? The man's like, well, it's not so bad, the smell, especially if you're used to it and it makes you money. And you understand how food works, which is that you eat this is what your favorite food. Okay. And also just like let go of it, like you have a kid, you've changed a diaper at some point. You understand that's what it's going to be. You have two choices. You can radically accept the smell of the goats, or you can keep complaining about it. Please, ma'am, fucking radically accept it and shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? I I don't know why I'm so sorry. I think it's so funny. I really hope you guys thought it was funny too. Like, yeah, I guess it just passed the threshold where suddenly, oh, my whole light went out. Oh, I'm gonna have to get up and change that. Yeah, it just was funny to me. And I think that it was just like it made me feel like they're in on the joke and they're trying to be funny, and that at some point they're going to understand that we need a respite, and the respite is going to be, I guess, a real moment. The funny thing is, I swear that I said earlier, I forgot that I'm not wearing pants, so I have to be very careful how I sit back down. I am wearing them. I said earlier that there were some confessionals where his tone bordered on having given up, of caring how she was going to take what he said in the confessionals. Like, obviously, they're married and they know they're going to watch the show. So if they're filming together, that's one thing. And when they are filming confessionals separately, they have to understand that their husband or wife are going to watch the show probably with them. And when they perhaps air the part of you talking about sans um sin, I think a sin is how you say it in French. Avec, no, avec, without. Or no, avec is with. I got it. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to go spend some time in Paris for the holidays, and I'm so super excited. And I haven't been to France in a very long time. And so I think that one thing you're picking up on is my ADHD style somewhat obsession about how my French is doing. Spoiler alert, horrible. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have a really hard time. Not that my French has ever been great, and truly, of course not, but I had studied abroad during college for a semester, and I had to take French when I was there. And not that it was great, but I remember at least being able to somehow get around. And I think I've gone over this with you, the things I remember the most about speaking French, which is the following phrases. Je ne parle pas français. Important. I don't speak French. Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Can you speak English? One. Où est la voici? Which is where's the bathroom? Je voudrais, which is I would like. So I can order whatever I want. Or I would like, to get to them. Je suis, I know I am. Je suis désolé, which is I am sorry. So if I am like pushing through people in a crowded airport, I can be like, pardon, je suis désolé, pardon. That's all I know how to say. That's it. And so I think in this moment, I'm like, I wish I had really like kept on with that Duolingo. Anyway, so yeah, mostly Manon is just like, I am embarrassed in front of thousands of people because you, Anthony, are making a spectacle. I am so embarrassed. You are making a spectacle in front of people in public. And I'm like, "Ugh, like you've done for the past 13 episodes of this season of 90 Day Tell. You have been nothing. Girl, you have been, I mean, girl, you've been a spectacle. You've been a fireworks spectacle. It's been Fantasia, but like it's been Fantasia and the Main Street Electrical Parade, but like right when they first came out, right when it was a big ass deal, plus like the Bellagio fountains, you are all of that put together. And then one of those like really cool drone shows they do that is now what they do for fireworks. It's like safer for animals' ears. Like, girl, you are nothing if not that. I mean, you are a spectacle. When she said that, she knows. I was like, oh my God, Manon, you are embarrassing me. After like so many outbursts of hers, like being mad for your husband taking you to a cheese farm. Some people online are like, yeah, but he promised her a date. And it's like, dates are relative. Like, also you have to understand that if you're probably leaving in the middle of the day for a date, you're probably not going to like a sexy restaurant. I mean, like if someone's like, hey, let's go on a date. I'll pick you up at 10 a.m. I'm assuming I'm not going to wear my stilettos and my like sexy ass, whatever slutty dress that, is going to like tantalize him, like, while I sit at like a dimly lit restaurant between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m. I'm just saying, I'm assuming that, that like there's something else happening and maybe I should plan for it, and also, I think that I don't mean to be whatever. I just think that maybe there's a world in which, and someone like Bramsterdam can tell me if like where Manon is, she's not in Paris. Okay. So she's not in the height of fashion, which is how you say fashion in French. And to the point where her having sensible shoes should be an option at all times because she's like in Provence area, and the Provence area like is the agricultural farmland area. This isn't like cities, major cities with like, I mean, it's not like skyscrapers or anything. There's beautiful for sure castles, and I don't think I want you can't wear your like, work boots, probably in there, but like I don't know. I think that she obviously has made a spectacle of herself in every episode, and certainly on the way to the airport and her child's baptism, she basically took over. I mean, she didn't have to go talk to that Aunt Christine. Aunt Christine didn't want to be there in the first place. She was just there by the grace of like someone getting talked into her and being like, "Well, also the cameras are going to be there. Have you heard of 90 Day Fiance? It's a French show." Yeah, it's a French show. It started in France. Well, why is the word fiance in it? And then he's not 90 Day Lover. Anyway, I don't know if that was a conversation, but it could have been. Christine got a talking to by Manon at Manon's son's baptism that didn't even have to happen because it was a moot point. Because as we know, as I said, Manon just went over to talk to her to basically be like, thank you for coming because I really wanted you to come here so that we could wash everything under the bridge and not talk about the past and move on to the future. And that Anne was like, you're literally saying the word past right now and bringing up all of our issues right now in this very moment. You could have just like looked at me and sent over a glass of champagne and gave me a little wink because I know you like drinking. And then we would have just known that we're like having fun without you making it horrible. But you like to make a spectacle, and that's what her family knows of her. So, like, I think that she is going to have a redemption arc. I think that the way she's going to do this is that she is giving us like her being messy, mean, emotionally unregulated, out of touch, delusional, all of that. And I think that what I'm hoping is that she's going to have like a come to Jesus moment that's scripted or whatever. And then she's going to be like, no, Anthony, I am so sorry. I have now realized how rude and mean I've been to you and my whole family. I have focused only on myself and my own pain and problems, and in doing so, pushed you all away. And I think that her sister's going to come. I think her sister is going to like give her a look like this because she's not going to believe her. I mean, she's not going to believe that it's going to change. Because she's heard that before. And I think that she thinks that Manon has a personality disorder. And I do think that maybe a lot of the people on this show do. Like certainly I'm an actor, as I've said, and I have no business discussing anyone's psychological history and psychiatry, but does it feel like Jasmine does a little bit? What do you guys think? Since they're on the shows, we can talk about it. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Um, It's also how I feel. I feel and feel the same thing. I don't Peter Thiel. How do you say that person's name? You know what I'm talking about? That really crazy conservative benefactor that like funds Republican conservative things. Is it Peter Thiel? And I ask because he's someone that I read about and I don't have to hear his name that much, and then I get confused how you actually say it. Um, I never thought about this question, but it is like, do you think Manon is viewed differently in France? Is she annoying in France too? I think that she absolutely is. Yeah, but how do you say it? You know, um, yeah, I think that definitely her family thinks that she's annoying. Yeah, I think that if she was in England, they would like banish her. um, okay. So, you know, another good thing about that, oh, like Teal. Okay, Peter Teal. Okay, good to know. Um, the last thing about that is that Ben truly though was enjoying some mom time. He was all up in that mom, being scared of that mime that looked just like dad. I wonder if he wondered why. Smelled just like dad. Anyway, sounds just like dad. Mom's yelling at that mom, just like mom yells at dad. I wonder if Ben was like, I wonder if that's dad underneath that makeup, underneath that striped boat neck shirt, and that hat, which had no place to be there. Okay, let's move on, my babes, to oh, I put okay, sorry. Let's move on to Dylan and Patia. So we're going camping. Glamping? No, camping. Yeah, he feels like a camper. He's so outdoorsy. And every time they're together, I have to remind myself that they've been together for 7 years because their energies are so mismatched and they don't seem like this case. So let me break this up. So Dylan and Petty are on the way to go camping and they're driving there. And we've obviously been witnessing both their energies. And, they get to the camping site and she is like a city girl. And we certainly know that because we've also, seen her on the past 12 episodes. And I kind of wish that he had used the word city slicker because it reminds me of the movie. And every time I can think of that movie, one or two, I'm happy about it. Um, When they are together, their energies feel like they're on a first date where they're still feeling each other out and not knowing what the other one would be into or how to maneuver. They don't feel comfortable around each other. Like she never feels at ease. She always is like tiptoeing around him and what's happening. And, you know, he is never doing anything for her. Every episode, he's doing something that is kind of like antagonistic against her. For instance, he's either yelling at her about her money, or he's inviting his mom over when he knows that she's just got there and she has a mask on her face and she doesn't want to see her mom. He knows that he doesn't have a couch, so he's going to take her couch furniture shopping, and then he's going to yell at her when she picks out the one that she wants, which is the one that's at the shop that he took her to, and then he quotes a price that I don't feel like is attached to a couch at that location. I know I said that awkwardly, but why are you bringing someone to go furniture shopping at a place? This is your city, and the couches there are 2,600, and then you're mad at her when she's like, "Okay, I'll take that one." He's like, "Well, that's too much money. You need to spend $1,000 on a couch." Well, bitch, do you see $1,000 couch right here? I don't. I'm from Las Vegas. Take me to a place with $1,000 couches then. Bye. I mean, I'm mad at him. And then of course, she gets ambushed like nobody's business. She hates that mom. He knows. She knows why she hates the mom. He enlists all of his siblings, tells them about it against her. She's like, "Thanks, don't fucking talk about this." And then in front of their mom later is like, "You guys really have a weird relationship. You guys don't even talk about it. You guys like kind of pretend to be friends, but we know what's up. You guys hate each other. Why?" And then they force Petia to be like, "Okay." And I know because your son told me, and obviously I know how close you are, that it's a huge problem that I'm older than him and that you wish that you would be that I would sorry that your son would be with a younger woman that could give him children. And because I know this, I know that every moment spent with you is you grinding your jaw, biting your teeth, whatever, biting your tongue because you don't want me to be with him because you're like waiting for him to like ditch me for a younger person and it makes me really uncomfortable, which is what your son told me. That's why. And then everyone's like, "No, I didn't say that." He did say it. And then the mom is like, "That's it? That's the only thing?" It feels like more. Everyone feels weird around her. And then now they're going to go camping and she doesn't like camping. She doesn't like camping. And it's not even glamping. He's going to put up like, a nylon tent, honey, on the ground. I mean, they already don't have a couch. Why don't you camp, I guess, in your living room? You don't have a couch there. It is like camping. I don't like him, honey. I don't like him one bit. I'm over him. I really am. It starts raining. It starts raining when they put that up. I'm like, leave. Go get a hotel room. You are a nightmare. He's controlling, he's cheap, and he does seem to want to punish her or like neg her in a way to make sure that she is reliant on him or feels less than him and therefore will put up with whatnot. The fact that he did tell her that and then acted like he didn't, and then that wasn't the reason why, like, she wouldn't be like to her core insulted and weirded and like not wanting to be around someone who would say that about her is mean. It's like he doesn't have empathy. It was a weird thing. So he then, gets the fire on, honey, and they're going to make s'mores, and it's not a 90-day episode unless s'mores are talked about. And then they see like a little animal and it looks like a little kangaroo. And for a moment, I'm like, if he kills and eats that kangaroo right now, I'm going to lose my shit. It's called a panda melon and it's a smaller marsupial. I wonder if that man was like, smaller marsupial, eh? Probably has wanted macros of a normal kangaroo, but forgot. I can't do that accent. I'm sorry. But if I got it, I'll just stop. Maybe it's like 40 grams of protein. I mean, like he's like a little Terminator. He's like a Terminator that scans protein meals and animals and people and weighs out their nutrition and benefits. And I feel like the way he scans Petia, I wonder like what. Yeah, he obviously wants her to acquiesce to him. Now, here is what is the rub. While they are camping, he gets a FaceTime from his mom. He has no problem answering FaceTimes from his mom at all times, at any times. Like, and I think that there are moments in which you can and moments in which you can't. Like, does he answer if they're having sex or if they're kissing? Does he jump off, and like answer? I'm not quite sure. Sometimes it's a little bit like if you're hanging out with one person and one person decides to answer a FaceTime, it is awkward, right? Because you're like, oh, okay, well, then I'll just, hi. I'll just be here, I guess, until this conversation. And yeah, no, it's great. Be here. I don't really want to like talk at the top of my voice, and I don't want to hear you talk at the top of your voice. It's awkward. But there's a way, I guess, to do it, which is like if you really are like, oh, my mom's calling me, you could just be like, oh, hey, babe, I'm just gonna take this for 1 second, just and then that like you're gonna like wrap it up, touch base. Hey, how are you, mom? Make her feel seen, make her feel loved, give her an update. Let her also know though that you're in the middle of making a s'more and eating a s'more and the fire has to be tended to. So thank you so much, but I will call you tomorrow. But like, that's never the energy. And there's the rub. He gets what looks like a lot of messenger audio calls by his mom on a basis. We get to see his phone. And Petia isn't just a fact that she doesn't like his mom because, the mom said that she's too old or whatnot, or didn't say that and he lied about it. It's that, they have too close of a relationship, but truly that's on him. Like he makes it awkward. It's not the mom. The mom calling isn't the problem. Him answering is. Like people can call anyone all the time. Like no one calls anyone hardly, but like it's not so bad to call someone. Like we got into these weird things where you're like, well, I have to text first and see if it's okay to call. I can't call at all. It's like, well, I think that if you are, in a relationship with someone, and I mean any kind of like any kind of like intimate relationship that is like friend and family, you can call them at any time. And if they can't answer, they can't answer. Maybe they text back, sorry, I can't talk now, I can call you later. And maybe you call, and text them like, I just wanted to hear your voice, or I was just driving, or, whatnot, or I do want to talk to you, please text me back. None of that happens. He answers. He knows that she doesn't really want to be there, and now kind of like, what's she supposed to do now? Just go back to her, like, pick up a knitting needle and like wait until you're off the phone with the mom. Petia thinks it's a problem and he doesn't. And that's the problem. He does not think it's a problem. He does not want to change. He thinks that's a number. The messenger audio calls is great. He feels like the way he handles it, which is just abruptly ending any conversation they're having, picking up with his mom, making Petia just sort of hold in space, waiting for him to come back. Like, that's all weird. Um, Especially because he doesn't have the urgency that she does not enjoy that and would like him to get off the phone as fast as possible. He doesn't feel like he is even wanting to bridge the gap between the needs of both women. And the truth of the matter is, his needs lie somewhere in between. He certainly wants to pick up the phone for his mom and like update her on his life. And I think that there's a part of that is the following things. A, it's happened for so long that it's like habit. And B, I think that a lot of like, I think I do this with my dad. And I think my dad does this with me, is that sometimes you just call someone and recount what's happening in the present time and what you have done, almost like your own little mental recap. Well, hey, dad, like, if you call, okay, you guys tell me, if you talk to someone on the phone daily or every other day, is it a parent, or it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be your spouse, it could be your sister or brother, anyone, whatever. What are those daily conversations like? Like, what do they actually entail? Like, usually they are roundups of what has happened or what is happening or what's going to happen. At least that's in my life. Like, and I hopefully try and get away of just, I want to get away from those things because it just seems like laundry lists, and then get into the like, did you see, did you feel, did you know about this, how do you think about this, did you feel, what do you think about this like story, or did you hear about this thing with this person, or get people's like commentary on things that aren't just the schedules of life. But Dylan feels regimented. Like, his mind feels a little like, I'll make my kangaroo on Mondays, whatever, and it's 40 grams of protein. Like, he feels like he's like a little bit like that. Like, he's, he has 3 places and he has his like disposable income or whatever. And so maybe like the way his mind works is that, my mom calls me 3 times a day, and I recount all the things in my head that I'm doing, and she, sort of validates and also comforts me and gives me advice. The way that like you might get from a mentor or a loved spouse or your own mind or, other people. Maybe he just like puts it all on her. You know what would be like, I hate to say this, and this is something I think about, which is why I can say it. I wonder if you honestly ask Dylan if he has come to terms with the fear of what's going to happen with his mom's death. Because when you are like in a habit of like that much connection and that much like constant validation and reverberation, subtly there's a part of him that knows that this can't last forever. And I wonder if his like obsessive need to always answer the phone or whatnot increases as she ages. She's young still, obviously. But I want, like, there are things to unpack with like the behaviors of him, like the control aspect of him seems Christian Grey-esque, and I don't mean Christian Grey-esque in like sexual, although maybe. But here's the thing. That's 2 conversations. I meant Christian Grey-esque in just the control aspect and, like, how he wants things, and I don't know why I used a really archaic reference. I wish I didn't, but here we are. If we are to talk about their sexual lives, and I don't mind it, what do you think Petia and Dylan are like in bed? Like, he is obviously or arguably, whatever, controlling in his day-to-day life. And historically speaking, you could say, if you're going to go the Christian Grey route, which is not real, that controlling person would somehow also want to be super controlling like at night. Like they don't give up the reins. They need to always be in control, like whatever that is. But the thing that we sometimes read about or if experienced or whatnot, or that sometimes people that live their life in a lot of control truly crave or get turned on by like letting go of all that or like releasing that. And so I wonder if there's any sort of like fun role play BDSM power play that happens in their lives, because we've seen them argue a lot and we know they've been together for 7 years, and like I've said, they don't seem to be connecting a lot or whatever, but certainly we know that they do connect somewheres. And their personalities being displayed such a way kind of question the ways in which they do find connection. You know what I'm saying? Um So yeah, so I just he's weird though. And at the end of the day, like I want to say that he's the one that's weird. She's not weird. I don't blame her for getting in some debt. A lot of Americans are. It happens to the best of us. Like I don't think that she should be tormented the way she is. And I really hate the fact that like he is holding it over her head and she obviously I think that it'd be nice if he had helped her and helps her financially. And she feels that way too. She feels that way because she made 2 moves for him. One move being to Thailand didn't fucking work, and now here. And so I think that at the end, that coupled with the fact that they're gonna spend the rest of their lives together and he is her, man/husband, and he has some rental properties, it feels only kind/normal for him to like alleviate some of the burden and or at least stop like rubbing her nose in it. She's not like some like puppy you're trying to potty train. And especially like not the mom. Like there is some fucked up kind of like weird head game that could happen between Dylan and his mom against Petia that almost feels like a mother-son dangerous liaisons, kind of like where they're just like mentally screwing with people. And I think it's creepy. And I think that Petia knows it a little bit. And I think that that's why she's so anti him and his mom, is because when they get together, hell can break loose. But I think that the problem is him as much as it's her. And, the fact that he isn't stopping it means that he is, the problem. I don't like this for her. I think that she is just holding on to the fact that he's younger and or hot and or they have like history and or, it's hard, really hard to date. It's really hard to like just find someone to be in a relationship with that you tolerate, that like will like hang out with you and watch the same things that you will and like want to eat the same foods you will and like think the same thing about the people that you think, so that you can hang out with the people you like and not hang out with the people you don't like together. You know, what a beautiful thing when you find that. And they haven't found that, but she's thinks that she's found a version of that some times in some moments with him that she's holding on to. Um yeah, but they have to come to at least an understanding of like rule number 1. Is it a problem that he talks to his mom every day? If he's like, it's not a problem, then then it's a moot point. I don't know what you're gonna do. I would say for her, start talking to someone in your family every day. I would every time he gets on the phone with his mom, just suddenly get on the phone with your nephew. Be like, great, I could do it too. Hey, nephew, hi. Oh, it's just stupid Dylan over there on the phone. Yeah, no, hi. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, you just show him what it's like. Get a dog, get a puppy or something, and every time that he like starts to ignore you, starts to ignore him for the puppy, and just be like, yeah, and I can't. The puppy and I got to talk about my day and talk about what's gonna happen tomorrow and her day. Sorry, that's what's happening. Puppy time. Um, let's move on to Madeline and Luke. So Madeline and Luke are in the white BMW that he packed full of her luggage and that she was mad about because he was mad that she didn't help him and she was mad that he would even ask for help. Because look at her and look at him. He's dumb and a man and she has two baby dogs. She's, you know, a child's 3L. I don't know. So as they get out of the white BMW, um she's like, "Are you going to take my luggage? Give me my puppy." But she calls him Poppy, which I think was funny. Then they lay in bed in furs, which I'm going to bring up as like one of the looks of the app, honey, because let's talk about it. Like mafia wives, husbands. I mean, what deal and asset are they like putting a hit out on to get? I mean, what is happening? But let's look at it. It's just a bunch of fur. It is fur on fur crime. Okay. There's just dogs made in laboratories and fake furs abundant. I mean, he feels like he watched or played Grand Theft Auto like Miami Vice so much. And he created like a fantasy in his life where he can like go down there and she's there and she's kind of like a little street smart and she can scream at someone so she's not demure in the sense that like she wouldn't kind of be like a badass, I think, in his mind. And he gets to talk in his like pseudo Latin X accent where he speaks like ESL for him, even though it's English is his first, it's ESF. I don't know. No, EFL, English first language. He is trying to piece together his dignity and it's not there. He's obviously hot on the heels of having screamed in the car that he lets a 20-year-old yell at him and he has to live with that. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, and I'm not happy. We're going to get married and it's so hard, I just doubt that I'm the right person for you and I don't want to fight. And then Madeline just gives us a side we haven't seen. She's just like immediately starts crying and immediately is like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've seen some bad shit. All the men's I know in my life is such a bad men's. And she is like, my mom had me at 16 and whatnot. She kind of crawls in his chest and cries. And then she says, that she is a difficult person and it's hard to make happy. And it's interesting because when Luke was, I guess, trying to broach the subject of breaking up with her, it wasn't like, I doubt that you're the right person for me, or I doubt that we're right together. He actually was like, I doubt that I'm the right person for you. And so it always felt like he never really wanted to break up. He just wanted her to either have this crying meltdown or submit and like let him like pet her and like act like the big strong husband on a white horse that's gonna like save her. And he does. After she says again, all the men I know in my life is such a bad men's. She says, when you are lonely, you have control over everything. Um, she obviously gets vulnerable and then she says that he is her peace and he's like, I just want to be there for you. I just want to be that. Yeah, like some he really got tethered into being able to save her. He feels like he can save her. And I low key also feel like that's what Robin made Cody feel like, that he could save Robin. Not to jump from like show to show. But at the time, Robin was like with all those kids and, fresh from like a divorce and, like basically not eating in like a little shell of a person who like had to deal with 3 kids and a domestic violent man. And then, Cody came, got a diesel jeans model. All he had to do was divorce his first wife, marry her, and adopt her 3 kids as legally his own, and then break up his entire family to do so. But he did. He did for her, and it's there is something, I guess, psychological that happens, and I don't know it, but if you can, like, let someone believe that they alone can save you, and that in the act of saving you, they feel such a rush of a reward. It must feel so and it's not just the saving of you. Both these men want to save someone they are physically and sexually attracted to and, can put it down on. So it's like yeah, does something. It changes their DNA almost. It codes them in such a way that then makes them almost like vampires, willing to like kill anything that like stands in the way of them getting more of that like validation from it. Luke's gonna fuck up his whole life, won't listen to any of his friends, will be like a basically pussy whipped, like cuckold in the face of anyone that's ever known him. And his dad doesn't respect him just to get more of Madeline. And obviously, I've already talked about what Cody Brown would do and has done just for one more day of Robin and her dolls. It will shock me every moment I think about it for the rest of my life. It really, really will. Um, Stunted Luke thought he could marry a near teenager and be the knight in shining armor, but Madeline is not the wilting flower he hoped she would be. I mean, that's basic poetry. That's basic poetry. You're right. Yeah, that's very interesting. But I think there's also a part of her that likes that she's a little like snappy and like sassy and fiery, because I think that there's a part of him that likes that, like, if something's happening, like she'll pop off and make him look hard, cool, badass, um, fill in the blank, like not dorky, like a fucking badass, I don't know. I'm playing with my hair. Sometimes my hair looks so frizzy, and sometimes I just have to like shape it better. Okay. Um, okay, my loves. We talked about Madeline Luke. We talked about Dylan and Petya. We talked about Manon and Anthony. We have Greta and Matthew and Chloe and Johnny left. Let's start with Chloe and Johnny. Okay, so guess what? It's the last day, honey, and no one knows it's the last day of Chloe's mom being in Aruba more than Chloe's mom, Joe. So Joe is like, wait, is Joe her name? Yeah, Joe. So Joe is like, I have one more chance at getting into this. And she's like, guys, thank you so much for waking up in my beautiful condo. Because do you notice that they're all at her like condo? Like, do you all sleep here when she's here? And do you go back to the house with the water, like no hot water? Like, what's happening? The mom's like, I want to go jogging. And Chloe's like, nope, nope, hate jogging. Not for me. I'm not a big jogger. No. And Johnny's like, I love jogging. I'll go. Sure, sure, sure. By the way, the streets of Reddit say that they have seen Chloe at a Pilates class in Boston. Spoiler alert. So I've never been a runner and I am not a jogger at all. And I think that it's great for some people and I have to assume that my body isn't for it for the following reasons. A, my legs are so long, my arms are so long. It's too much work. I think jogging is for people with shorter legs and you can just kind of like let those legs, like move and then you're just on top. Second thing is I know that's not where the way I said it, but it's just too much bending of a long ligament to make running a very conducive form of movement for me. B, knees. C, it's bad for your knees. C, I think it's bad for your face. I think the impact of constantly is bad for your skin, bad for your face. I don't want to like make my face move like that. I really don't. I think it's bad for all of it, like your joints, the impact. I don't like it. So Chloe is right when she's like Pilates. And also at the same time, when I actually see the jogging that happens, it doesn't feel like there was a lot of jogging that happened. It feels like, yeah, there was like a little like white cute skirt put on. And they go just around the resort area that Joe's staying at. And Joe gets her perfect opportunity to be like, I have something to ask you. My daughter told me that when you were dating in the beginning, that you had a dalliance with a girl that you brought to Florida. And then Johnny's like, fuck. First of all, Chloe should never have said that. It's super fucking awkward. And second thing is, he's like, um, here's the thing. We were not exclusive. We were just dating. We were like dating when that happened. She was dating someone, I was dating someone. So yeah, since we weren't exclusive, that happened. But obviously now we are exclusive. It would never happen again. Now, Joe hears that and it completely puts a kibosh on what would be her argument, but she wants to hold on to it so bad that she kind of still tries to do it. She's like, well, it's not good enough. I still would have expected you to have utmost fidelity to my daughter the moment you started talking to her. The moment you lay eyes on my Chloe, you should like get down on one bended knee and say, I will not look at another woman until you tell me I can. Which I'm going to say is the most toxic part of me. I have to lean into a lot of like horrible parts of me, and I am toxic in ways in that I get possessive and jealous, like for sure. I agree. Like there's a part of me that's like, okay, if you were dating my daughter, if you had met my daughter and actually were having access and opportunities to speak to her and hang out with her, and during that time when you were gifted God's grace in the form of spending time with my daughter, you had the audacity to try to entertain some other situation, then right now, to this moment, in my mind, you're dumb and your discernment is shitty and you don't know how to feel or understand or make good decisions. And it seems like at this moment in time, my daughter being here is just what shook out of all the spaghetti you were throwing at the wall. And I don't want my daughter to be like whatever is dried spaghetti on the wall that's stuck there from all the shit you were throwing at it. I want my daughter to go back. I don't want you to be there. Uh, I want her to be like, just so you know, I don't want you to move to Boston. I'm just saying that to get Chloe, but like, I don't need you to work for my company. For like, remember when I said that Chloe was going to take over my company and we'll find a space for you? Janitor. She hates him for that. And he doesn't understand why. And it's because Chloe set him up. If he was a very smart man, then he would know in that very moment that Chloe does not want to be with him and wants her mom to save her because there is no coming back from that conversation. Or Chloe wants Johnny to get down on bended knee and truly be like, you're right. I had met Chloe, so I knew that I had been gifted a once in a lifetime opportunity to be with a cherubic angel. And I felt insecurity. So when some red-haired slutty girl climbed on my back and told me she was from Florida on the Jolly Pirate, and I said, look at my Instagram handle, maybe we'll talk. I was just dealing with my imposter syndrome that I would ever be with someone so great as Chloe. Like that's almost what I feel like she wants. She's not going to get it. It's what I want. I will never get it either. I'll never get it. It's annoying. But yeah, that is the toxic part of me. And it's funny, I have been, I feel like, called out by people to be like, "What are you expecting?" And I say it and then I get looked at like I'm crazy. And then I have to understand that I am. But I mean, yeah, it's just like, "Oh, you're gonna have the opportunity to like talk to me or date me or see me or spend time with me or flirt with me or joke with me or FaceTime with me. You're gonna have those moments in your life because like we're in a connected beginnings of a relationship and you have the capacity to also be like, well, fuck that. That's not good enough. Or we don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to explore this other situation. I wouldn't get over. Like, I think I have an issue. I'm like, oh, boy, you little hungry, hungry caterpillar. Is that what you're doing? Just all the goddamn time? Scary. That shit's scary. Um, he did mention that Chloe was dating other people in the beginning, but it's funny because I wonder if she just said that because he doesn't like bring up that much, but she brought it up a lot. And she obviously brings it up to her mom. And here's the thing. The minute that Johnny heard from Joe that that was a problem, and the minute that Johnny was like, well, she was dating other people and we weren't exclusive, and the minute that he realized that that wasn't good enough for her, I would have made sure that when I got home, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to ask that we all have a quick conversation about what now I realize we've talked about, just not all together. When Chloe and I were first talking, I was also in a whatever he wants to say, in a relationship with Sue, red hair Sue, honey. And as that was ending and Chloe and I were beginning, Sue had a best friend's wedding that she already had bought tickets to. So I was talking to Chloe. I knew that Chloe was talking to, name names. And so I went. And we've talked about that. It's like a private thing in our conversation. Obviously, you guys have talked about that. And now we've talked about it. But I just want to make sure that you also aware that your daughter was dating someone at the same time. Who was that again? What was that person's name? You remember that person, right? Because you live with your daughter. So obviously, you know that that person was around. And also, we weren't exclusive, right? When did we get exclusive? What date? Like, I think that like I would have to like be clear about things because Johnny hasn't taken a strong role in this. And Joe is like a boss ass bitch, so it's hard to do. She's very alpha. But she also has asked for him to make sure that she feels comfortable leaving her daughter here. And he also promised he would do such a thing. And he is acting like he's younger. He's acting like he's Chloe's age. Remember, Johnny's 32. So Johnny should be able to have a conversation with two women about his own life and about the boundaries he has. He is like, yeah, we're going to get the work permit and yeah, I know that's what you want to hear. And so she's like, well, you're just going to get it? Or he's like, no, I'm going to set a date. And so like even that it's like I would never assume that Johnny could take care of Chloe at this moment in time. Because he can't. Chloe can't take care of Chloe. Chloe's too young. Like Chloe's doing like a rebellious teenage thing right now where she's just like so enamored with her mom respecting her. Mom, I just really want you to respect me and know that I can do things. I can live by myself. I can survive. And obviously she's not doing a great job at making poor choices and can't. The mom's like, yeah, 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 totally, totally, totally. But what if I flew you first class home? I'd be like, Delta One? um, you mean Delta One? Or not like American first class? It's not first class. So um, but if it's Delta One, if I was Chloe, I think about it. That's very fun. Chloe can't even talk when she hears that. She's like, well, I just, oh, that sounds good, mom. Do I fly back just to fly back and then fly back? I don't know. Maybe fly back to Boston just for the first class ticket. Um, and yeah, then we get Joe's travel outfit, and I want to say it was another really good look. It was LOOK of the thing. I thought it was really cute. I love a chic travel outfit. Look at this. It's like a breezy, blousey, wrapped either linen or light linen white shirt on top of like a white shell underneath, and just like what looks like loose fitting palazzo pants or just wide legged pants. She, of course, is doing a crossbody. Can't quite tell what bag that is. Now, a couple of things look wise. A, crossbodies, obviously, we know are aging, and that's annoying to me. I've literally had to change all of my bags now, knowing that like I radiate my age from the fact that I like things to hang on a hip. B, why do these two women want to have bleach blonde hair? Like white Marilyn Monroe bleach blonde hair. Is that just indicative? Two things. For Chloe arrived in Aruba with roots. Like it's not been that long. Like she has roots already. Chloe's roots are probably the same as her mom's roots. It's just that her mom have obviously a fresher do. They're dark. They're gonna grow out dark. We're gonna have to like make sure that you can blend this shit if you're gonna like be in Aruba, honey. I mean, you can't be just like. I mean, unless you're gonna like do your own bleach and tone. My God, bleached hair is very hard. It's a very hard color to pull off all the time, and like both these women are obviously, tanning to try and like do something on top, and then you get a lot of different colors happening at one time. They need to blend. We need to blend. We need to like ombre. We need to biolage. We need to like, like make sure things are, toned well, that like add some beige in there, like bring it down, like make it like lived in, make it look like elegant, make it look like, chic and rich, like go from new money to old money is what I would say in like the aesthetic if I could give any notes. However, I will say that I do like the travel outfit. It's perfect for Aruba. Um, when Joe leaves, uh, obviously Chloe and Johnny like leave the airport. And Chloe's outfits are just indicative of someone who is like excited to do the very least. And I get that maybe I think Chloe spent a lot of time probably doing like cheerleading and pageants or whatever. And so I think Chloe is just like in a little bit of a like, I don't want to do anything fucking fuck phase. And I think that Aruba is a way for her to escape a lot of like the upcoming stress and doom of starting your life and of adulthood. Like there's, I guess, a depression that can happen, as one has to get their life going, and I think there's a case to be said that this entire situation with Johnny and Aruba is just her escaping having to like join us citizens in the world, you know? But it is funny because as her mom leaves, like Johnny, I think, sorry, one second. Johnny says with such relief, and now she's gone. Chloe's like, now I can't use her shower anymore. I wonder if who took the Stanley. Okay, we have one more couple left, and I certainly saved the best for last. I can't believe I've been talking for an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, I guess I took some time before I started. But Greta and Matthew, my loves, this Greta and Matthew segment. Are you ready? I'm glad we started on some laughs because, honey, this ends on some tears. Bad. Oh no. I've loved Greta and Matthew's storyline this entire time, though. Yes, and I would say that I loved how small and insular it was, or whatever. It's interesting because this feels like a little bit of a turn or a little bit of an admittance or confession that maybe the red flags were there that this is such a thing, but like it feels like it came a little bit out of left field because it would have been nicer to have more check-ins with Greta and people that she cared about to understand what was happening in her mind. And what we were seeing was some awkwardness and like some uncomfortability or just some discomfort. But what ends up being behind that, which is like ultimately a fear that their connection is lost, it almost feels like I wish that I had understood that that was a possibility before she got there a little more, because I was confused how it all went down. But let's move on. Okay. So this comes hot on the heels on the fact that she had to tell Matthew in his like tear-filled face that she no longer clear that she wants to be a mom. And Matthew took that horribly. And to us, he's like, this bitch fucking knew the names of her kids. But to her, later on, he's like, I mean, later on that night, he's like, well, just so you know, I want kids. And if you had kids, you would have to do barely anything. You would just pop them out and then forget about them. I will do all the things. Don't forget their names. You could be like Manon. I will be the Anthony. I will hold them. I will do everything for them, like, and you don't even have to carry them. You just like, give me one of your eggs and I will put them in a surrogate. I'll have them. And, you can just pop down, for tea at 4 if you want for a vegan scone or not, maybe whatever. And then Matthew, I guess off camera or later on, is like, you know what, Greta, it's you. It's always just been you. It's you. So however I can just have you and you, it's all that I need. All I need is you. And that scares her even more because Greta, turns out, was using this as a way to tiptoe out of Britain. She was trying to like kind of tiptoe back to Hazel in America, was like, no, I'm just going to use this huge big thing I know you love to be the reason, so I don't have to say anything else. And we both can be like, that was a great reason. We understand that's a reason enough. There can't possibly be any more reason, or we can't possibly get past this. But he does, right? Because he's like, kids or no kids, you. And then she's like, fuck. So she goes to have an SOS with her friends and FaceTimes her friends Hannah. And she has also like duct tape on her finger. And her friend Hannah's like, what the fuck's up with that duct tape? And she's like, also, yeah, you didn't see this because it was like a moot point, but I got bit by a pig. Ugh. And then I told the production not to show it because I don't want them to think that pigs are violent. Pigs aren't violent and you shouldn't eat bacon. I don't know what her deal is, but probably something like that. Um, I was a vegetarian for like 11 years. And as you know, I worked at a vegan restaurant and I tried to be vegan off and on, never was. I couldn't even really be vegan at a vegan restaurant. That's how much I love cheese. And now I don't even eat that much cheese. And that's so weird. Anyway, but I can still have it when I want. And that's what makes me happy. Okay. So she recounts to Hannah everything that had happened, right? And also everything that Matthew said, which is like bananas and also just like so hard to hear because it's like she obviously was trying to get the fuck out of England and he was like, no, don't leave, please. And like grabbing onto her skirt and like crying and like basically begging her not to go. And she's like, Hannah, what do I do? Oh my God, it got me into like some bullshit. And she's like, let me tell you, Hannah, when it first started, like, when I first met him, I thought I had met the love of my life. I just couldn't believe I had met like such a hot British vegan. I was like, oh my God, he's British, he's vegan, he's hot, he's into me. This is it. But when I went back to America, I started to see a decline. I would stop or didn't want to tell him how my day was doing. Either she was embarrassed about things or she talks about how law school was intense. She also says that, like, yeah, back in the day when they were first starting out, they used to flirt a lot all day long and send a lot of nudes. I mean, Greta was like, I used to send full pictures of my bush. I mean, I'd be like, Hazel, use your little paw, take this picture of mommy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Greta would be like, I dressed up, I dressed down. He's seen every hole, the insides, honey. Greta's like, I sent him titty shots, booty shots, black and white silhouettes, honey. Ones with whipped cream. I did things in public I should not have for him. and just send it to him, honey. And he'd be in a weird library in the middle of the Cotswolds or whatever the hell, like I can't say any of those, like in the Devonshire area. He'd be just like hee in some library with a pot of tea at my like titties out in the middle of a Costco. I mean, I don't know what she did, but she did a lot. I was like, I want to see the nudes. I mean, I don't want to see the nudes because I respect her or whatever, like, but I want to see like some of the idea of what the nudes looked like because I feel like they were interesting. I feel like they were like artistic in some way. That Greta's not gonna just, spread eagle and like, she's gonna do something interesting. When she said that she said nudes over and over again, I was like, oh my God, this is what I would have loved the whole time. Oh my God. I wish she would have just given us one to look at and just like, just like a tasteful nude and block out something. Just like, come on, if she had. But then she's like, yeah, but there's been like a real decline. There was a decline before, I even got here and I thought once I got here that, like it would just kind of be revitalized. And then I saw him at the train station and it was awkward. There was no spark. And that's why, Hannah, that's why the world, when I got to the house and there was not nary a drawer, I was like, oh no, what did I do? What did I give up, Hazel, for nothing, for no drawer and no like hot British guy? Like it all became so marmy and so hodrum. No, what's the word? I'll look it up later. Yeah, she was like, it just wasn't for me. It just, you could see how unsexy it was for her. And you could see how much he didn't know that she was turned off. And he just seems a little, I don't know what the word is, marmy. It's like he's just a little, he should have absolutely picked her up. I think it would have been like I wonder if she would have felt more romance if he had picked her up, if he maybe had shelled out for a hotel room like in London or for them to like have a night together. And if he had cleaned out a drawer and was like, okay, I haven't looked at apartments, but I have printed out a list of the contenders in the areas because I want you to see on paper and know where you're looking at and tell me like specifically where you want to be. And then I will, like, I feel like if he had just come with a little more wherewithal that he wasn't done doing things, impressing her or like pushing forward on the romance part of their relationship and like the relationship building aspects, I wonder if she would have felt the same. But he didn't, right? He really came with the energy like he didn't have to do anything more. He came with the energy of like, we've been married for 50 years, so just find your way back to the home you've known the whole your life, but I think that all of that was like, oh no, for her. And then how much like his parents and grandma was like, we love you, stay forever. We never thought he'd be married. She was like, oh no. So she's like, yeah, we've only slept together once since we've been here. I almost feel like sorry. How come we didn't talk about that? They've only slept with each other once. Like, I'm surprised that he hasn't brought that up. Or what's his sexual activity level? Like, what's his horny level? She seems like she's going to be hornier than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, she seems like she's a little more frisky. That's why I know those nudes were good. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that she also wears a bunch of banana things in this episode, and we're going to bring it up. You know it. I know it. I brought it up, is that she loves a tightly smocked, big, puffy, poofy, sleeved dress. She loves it. She loves it. She's been wearing them. She was not going to stop wearing them. So don't ask. Her entire closet, what she brought on this journey are that. If she's in a confessional, she's wearing one. Don't worry. If you've seen her, you're watching her in a puffy, she's obsessed with them. Okay. So then we've now watched her like, with what she's brought. And in the confessionals, we get a brand new look. So this is her look in this episode talking to Hannah. Okay, fine. Then the confessional, we get a Greta where we're like, what, babe? Greta has, okay, it is a mock turtleneck, long, long sleeve dress, pink, with what looks like a corset on top that is either too big or not at all tied in the back. I mean, just on like a vest corset that's just on her. And like this coupled with the fact that she like A has those like, big square glasses, which I do like, but also coupled with the fact that they obviously gave them the note to be upset in this opening couple shot is so funny. You guys, what is this outfit? What is what what is it? What's happening? I am going to go ahead and say that to me this is for sure vintage that okay. She shops at vintage places or like hand-me-down places. That's fine. I actually love that. I think sustainable fashion is great. So why though did she layer these two things on top of each other? And why is the corset so loose? Matthew kind of looks hot in this picture. Matthew looks like he's like a kind of a badass in this picture. Matthew looks like who Luke wants to be in this picture. And Matthew's not that, as we know. Matthew isn't this at all, but interesting. She looks so upset. Greta, I want the best for, and I absolutely need more Greta in the franchise. So I need Greta now to be on Hunt for Love. I would love her to be on Hunt for Love or Single Life or whatever they want because I need to see Greta get it. Greta, I think, needs to be with a very horny activist who has a lot of energy and will let her do whatever the fuck she wants. But also, I think that she has to call the shots, and he definitely has to be a little passive. But he has to want to make her happier and like and can kind of understand her needs more than Matthew. Now, Matthew didn't have that much time to learn them, so but Matthew didn't seem to have the wherewithal that any person might need more space living in the same room that he currently lives in than what he offered her. And the logic of that alone was off, right? Like it just is it's off to see someone be like, "Oh, just put your shoes right there," and you look down and there's like a bunch of shoes right there. So you're like, "Oh, I don't know. I can't. My shoes don't float above your shoes in midair, so I don't know where I would put the shoes on top of your shoes. Just put a big shoe pile. I mean, no, this isn't like a bunch of hay. This is shoes. You gotta find two of them. There's dirt in the bottoms of them. Anyway, um, so Hannah and her are talking, and Greta's like, "Yeah, we've only slept together once. There's no spark, and I got myself in a situation." And Hannah is like crying for her friend. She's like, "I'm so sorry. This sounds horrible." And Greta's like, "And the worst part is like he's so great, and I could just be with him, and it would be a fine relationship." And Hannah's like, "Yeah, but you don't deserve just a fine relationship, right?" And it's true. Oh my God. Anyway, by the way, if you haven't yet, please give me 5 stars, like this video, tell my algorithm you're into it. So like whatever you're watching or subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, give me a little comment, just tickle the algorithm and let it know that you're into this live. Would really help me and I appreciate it. I'm almost done. So basically, as we know, Greta has now had her friend talk her into doing the hard work. The work that has to be done, having a conversation no one wants to have. But one thing that will aid the conversation is some vegan shepherd's pie. So Greta goes just a supermarket shopping. And she gets the ingredients for vegan shepherd's pie. And then she has to go to Matthew's parents' house and cook it. And she's like, I hate cooking in people's kitchens. It is annoying and it makes me gives me anxiety, which is true. Yeah, that's always true. It always gives me anxiety too. It's like there's always just so many nooks and crannies. That's my English part for you. But there's so many drawers and just like never know where to find anything. And it almost feels like a game of concentration of memory, you know, where you have to like there's like a bunch of tiles and you like lift up one and then you're like, oh, it's a pig. And you like put it down and you like lift up another one, like, oh, it's a cow. And then you're like, the next person goes and they pick up one that's like a tiger and they pick up another one. It's like a cow. And they have to now remember where the cow was. And you're like, oh my God, I know where the cow was. I think it's right there. Right. But then you go and you're like, okay, cow there and cow there. And you pick up and it's like a fucking pig. You're like, no. All that to say, that's how I feel when I'm in someone else's kitchen having to cook. It's like you open up a drawer being like, okay, is that where their spoons are? You're like, no. You're like, okay, that's no, it's where they, I guess, keep their coupons. Okay, whatever. But where do they keep their spoons? You open this, you're like, oh, that's their, that's where they keep their meat thermometer. And you like later on, you're like, okay, I need the meat thermometer. It's oh fuck the coupons. Yeah, like that's exactly what it's like the whole time, except that you're cooking and things are on fire and you feel like you have to like get things done and it's just so hard. It's so annoying. It's hard for her too. And so she makes this shepherd's pie and she's like, I don't even know if it's good. I don't know if it's good. Now, this is where it gets messy. She's like, at the beginning, it was like he was Mr. Darcy and I was Elizabeth. And now I realize I feel like I'm just pretending to be someone for him. I'm pretending to be someone that who like would enjoy having a home cooked meal for him to come home to. But that's not me. I'm a lawyer that wants to fight for animal rights. And I don't want kids. So I'm not who am I cooking for? As I think kind of what she was saying. When she said that she was pretending to be a person, I was like, oh, was she pretending to be like a mom slash trad wife wannabe that was like, yeah, I always want you to like be the big man that comes home. Maybe you'll be a barrister or whatever and bring home the money. And then like, you know, Jane and Michael, the kids' names from Mary Poppins, will be here and, you know, and we'll just all sing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious all night long. You know, I don't know what her plan was in her mind, but obviously she doesn't want that plan. She wants to get, first of all, back to saving animals and also into Hazel's arms as soon as possible. She hasn't brought up Hazel, but there's a part of me that's like, and Hazel, right? Like all this is to get back to Hazel. I know it is. I know it is. Hannah knows it is. I also want to be like, why are we seeing the cat FaceTimes of her and Hannah? Because you know those are happening too. Like she calls her friends and she's like, hey guys, I know it's 3 a.m. there. Sorry. But can you just like put a little ring light on? Put this iPad in front of me and Hazel and let me say hi to my girl. You know, it's just like, meow, I missed you. He's not the same, Hazel. No, I know he's turned. He didn't give me any drawer space, Hazel. He's dumb. His grandma's great. So anyway, then God bless, then Matthew comes home and she's bawling. She's crying. She's I mean, she's not happy. Now, to me, I almost wanted her to be like, sorry, I was just cutting the onions. Sorry, I was just cutting the onions for the shepherd's pie, which is weirdly already cooked. So I would have just fresh onions for the top of it. Sorry, I'm pre-chopping onions for tomorrow, and so I'm crying because of that. Matthew, don't even pay attention to my tears. I don't know why. I'm sorry. He's like, Henny, I'm home. It was like a Lucy thing. She's like, he's like, well, don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, but are you okay? She's like, just sit down. I just don't know how the shepherd's pie is gonna taste. I just don't know how it's gonna taste. I didn't really saute anything long enough that I did I get the aromaticing? I'm not quite sure. You know, did I mash it enough? You know. So she's like, I have to talk to him. She gets him to take a bite of her breakup pie. He is like, it's great. And she is like, oh, you're right. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I'll tell you though. I'll tell you what's bad though. Us. That's the part that's bad. It's unseasoned. It's not going to work. It's not working. It's I'm going to send it back. I can't do it. I can't do it. Just throw it away. I'm throwing it away. Our relationship's bad. The shepherd pie better than I thought. Our relationship is. I'll just tell you. I thought both are bad, but the shepherd's pie is good. Um, Matthew is sad. Now here's the thing. The way she says it isn't actually the way I said it. Believe it or not. But she does say something direct. She's direct. She is a direct girly, and I like it for her in a bunch of ways. I think that it reads a little neurodivergence, which I appreciate that. Also, British people are usually direct. Like, aren't they usually a direct people? Like, I don't know. That's what their stereotype is. So she looks him right in the eyes, honey, as he has a mouthful of mashed potatoes and some corn or whatever. And she's like, I just don't think I love you anymore. So swallow that. And he has to. What can you say? I love you enough for the both of us. Don't worry about that. I'll grow the love. I can make you love me. I'll get a spell. I'll get a spell cast. Is this about the drawers? I'll buy you an armoire. She's like, you should have picked me up from London Heathrow Airport. You really should have. Sorry. And obviously, you should have given me like 2 drawers. Put your stupid shoes in one of those like shoe racks, you dumb fuck. Well, I don't even know. I mean, get those like shoe boxes that all the sneakerheads love. With the drop down tops, you can just like get them in and out. But you didn't, and I hate you for it. So I'm gonna tell you right now, wrap up this shepherd's pie, give some to your grandma. I'm on the next flight out of here, 10 hours back to LA. I'm getting my Hazel. This is gonna be devastating for him. Because I don't think that he's gonna have seen it coming or heard it coming or felt it coming. And that's what's like, that is what is scary about, well, there's a lot of things that is scary about relationships, but it's hard to trust how people are feeling, because sometimes you get people who don't know how they're feeling, or people that are pretending to feel because they want to feel that way, but they don't, and they're trying until they ultimately can't. And then you didn't realize there was a problem at all. Matthew's a good-looking man, boy, person, man, man. I don't know why I second guessed myself. He's a man. I think that he, is on a television show. So already, if he has an Instagram, I'm sure it's flooded with different DMs. I'm not saying that he's like model worthy, but I don't think that he's a bad looking person. And I think Greta is also really beautiful. And I already said I want to see Greta on Hunt for Love. I don't need to see Matthew's love journey at all. I know it's going to be boring, because I think the best parts of Greta and Matthew were purely Greta. Matthew offered nothing except kind of like a beige brick wall. A beige, yeah, like a beige cement wall that didn't know when it was in the way, and didn't know when it had to be a different color, and didn't know. But she was just like giving us everything. So having said that, I care about her and her journey, and I want to see more of it. I want her to like find someone that's like really great for her. Like, and I think that because she's kind of not self-conscious and vulnerable on TV, she kind of presents as a reality show star that, like, for the time being is protected and is an interesting watch. She isn't cognizant of her fame. She isn't trying to like assert a certain storyline, and she doesn't seem to have a personality disorder, which would make her overtly toxic to other people. I don't know what the difference is. Okay. Well, I guess it's like how conscious you are of your tactics and what you're doing. because I truly think that Greta was trying. And then as she tried harder and harder, got herself to London, started to realize that it got harder and harder because it was wrong and it was not supposed to work. Then she suddenly like have, a, you know, 180. And I think that it's devastating for Matthew, and I think that he's gonna be hurt. And whether he's gonna whether he in his mind, I don't think he uses the word toxic, whether he thinks that her behavior is toxic, I don't know. But I don't think of it as it seemed to be like genuinely, authentically what she experienced in her life, and she tried to do the best she could until she realized that she had to be open and honest with what was happening. And she, I think, tried to give herself an easy way out by being like, I don't want kids. And then when he was like, great, I do want kids, but I want you more. So I'll do whatever it takes for you not to leave. And she was like, oh, fuck, I have to tell you I have to leave, actually. But the thing is, I have to leave. So kids are a moot point. You can absolutely have kids. I think you should. Um, but someone who, let's just say like Jasmine, who I feel like manipulates and, is toxic, and anyone who's been with her would say that she's toxic. Like I think that she operates from a different place, right? Like I think that she is more calculated in what she's trying to do and isn't honest with herself and or like her partners of what's happening. So the more and more we can get like the Gretas of the world on reality shows, and the less and less that we can get the Jasmines. And even if like we get Jasmine on a season 1 or 2, like we know now like what's happening, and we can just like shy away from really fame grabby, weird, upsetting, obnoxious storylines, and like into what used to be the heart of the show, which was like authentic fish out of water, odd couples, you know? Um yes. My loves. That's it. That was the whole episode. Can you believe it? I'm sure you can, because it was probably a 45-minute episode that I've talked about for so long now. But thank you so much for being here. I'm so pumped. If you haven't yet, please like the video and subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I go live tomorrow. I think, yeah, tomorrow is the drop of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which I'm so super excited about, the tell all, especially because the tell all has a different host. I think it's Stacy as opposed to, or Stassi, whatever her name is, as opposed to Nick Vale. So already I want women. I like women talking to women. I like women knowing women drama and women politics and women infrastructure. And that's it. I don't need men commenting. I can't stand having to listen to men comment, straight men, comment on women. I hate it. I don't always love gay men commenting on women either. I love the reality gays. I love Watch What Crappens. I don't, but it's like this whole world is obviously patriarchal, and one of the effects is that there's a lot of misogyny across the board for every human, period. It's easy to say that like white straight males are misogynistic, but white females are misogynistic. Every race of males are misogynistic. Every race of females are misogynistic. Every trans person has misogynistic, at least philosophies and old tapes that they aren't 100% letting go of in all of their choices and ways. And I mean that because I think that there is like, things are ingrained in us and how we see and experience things. And it just takes so much unpacking. Maybe there are like people that really do the due diligence, like hardcore feminists or whatnot, that do the due diligence of like understanding how horribly we treat and think of females and how much we devalue them in ways that we don't other people. And, women do it to women, right? We know that. And males do it to women, and we know that. So I guess it's like having to watch men talk about women's stuff always just seems like you're out of place. You don't know what you're talking about, and your comments would be not warranted or needed. They're not educated. I don't want to hear your opinions on this. It's like, yeah, I don't want to hear a bunch of white people talk about Lebanese Palestinian cultures. It's the same thing. I don't want to hear men talk about women's stuff. I don't want a male tell all host for a show like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, or really any show that's female dominated. I don't watch Bravo. I don't think Andy Cohen is a great tell all host. I know that he's very popular. I don't think he's great to the females, and I can't watch the vibe of it because of it. I think that he is so misogynistic that I don't feel like his opinions or views are good. I don't think he comes from a place of like respect. I think that he's either somehow dealing with whatever favorite he has, and whatever favorite housewife he has is whoever's doing coke with whatever twink he wants to fuck in some bathroom somewhere. And so there's just not a lot of trust I have in males that preside over the commentary and like whatever pedestal of like a female tell all. You know what I'm saying? I hate it. I think I made that clear. Um okay, so my loves, other than that, we'll we'll talk about that. I'll go live and we'll talk about what happened in the tell all. We'll go over all the looks. As well as 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days is going to premiere next Sunday, and I'm excited to talk about that as well the day after. But yeah, the looks were this ridiculous Greta look. I mean, loose corset on top of pink, not to be confused with her other just like puffy pink parade of blousey, marmy peasant wear, and of course fur mafia jackets right out of Grand Theft Auto Miami Vice for him. Even though Miami Vice, I would assume, probably didn't have a lot of fur because it was like in a hot place. But like, I don't know. It just feels like he wants to be like running some sort of drug pin kind of like white collar ring. And then, yeah, I want to say some grace for this travel outfit. And then, but also give a lot of hate to this outfit for Manon because I didn't understand any part of it. Okay, my babes, let's breathe. Say goodbye to me if you want to. We'll go over socials and we'll call it a night. I've certainly appreciated your time and energy. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. All right, my babes. Let's do our practice breath and then our actual breath to give a little homage, to radically accept that for some reason, we're all here in the present moment. 13 of us are just all here right now. It's December 2nd. Wherever you are, if you're hearing my voice, there are 13 people spending this very second together. And so I think there's something cool about that. And that's why I want to do the breath. The breath just lets us viscerally in our body know, well, now there's 14 people all breathing together at the exact same time in this world we know. Isn't there a little bit of peace in that? 1,000 pieces, maybe even? You tell me. All right, let it all out. Breathing it in. Letting it all out. Here it comes. This is the real one. So make sure everything's out so you can breathe it all in. That felt good. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Here are the socials. I am on YouTube. I'm Chris Farah on YouTube. And you can like my page. You can subscribe to my page and hit the notification bell. I'm also Chris Farah on Facebook. You can like that page. I stream from there. I also have a private Facebook group called Vanity Farah, and I post before usually I go live or give my schedule, and you can always talk to me that way. I'm Chris L. Farah on Instagram and TikTok, and I also have a Substack, and that's Chris Farah. So all of those exist. My new podcast will be called Vanity Farah, and it will launch hopefully next week, if not next week. But I certainly appreciate you guys being here. And thank you so much for all the comments. Make sure to comment after it goes up so I can see you and reply back. Okay, babes? All right. I love you. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. Bye.